guys, what's going on? It's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion video. Today for you guys, I wanted to sit down and compare the old Tangled footage that we got back in 2015. Man, that feels like a long time ago. To the most recent Tangled footage that we got in the Lucca 2018 trailer. I was really impressed with this trailer mainly because it has been like a very long time since Square Enix released a trailer that just pretty much solely focuses on Tangled. Although the E3 2015 trailer wasn't a trailer that solely focused on Tangled, it had a very big focus within that trailer. Now in 2018, we're seeing a few of the different scenes that we saw in that E3 footage of 2015 now in 2018, and Square Enix have obviously come a very long way in the sense of the graphics and the visuals of Kingdom Hearts 3 since 2015, and that much I think is fairly what's obvious. I really loved how Square Enix showed us the updated and improved sort of walk in to Rapunzel's tower area, as well as also showing us off Rapunzel's tower area now in 2018, all updated. So first, let's look at the walk-in scene of Sora, Donald, and Goofy approaching Rapunzel's tower. If we look at this scene back in 2015, we can clearly see some massive changes compared to the current 2018 version in the Lucca trailer. The walking animation first is very basic. It's just simply these three walking towards the tower, some Heartless spawn, and boom, that's it. We'll also notice that in the ways of expression on Sora's face back in the 2015 version, there was pretty much nothing going on there. And man, just focusing on Sora's model, comparing the 2015 version to the 2018 version we're seeing here in the Lucca trailer, wow, there has just been so many changes. This is actually one thing that Square Enix have been focusing a lot on, is redefining the character models over the years. The E3 2015 trailer was really our first glimpse into Kingdom Hearts 3 properly, now running on the Unreal Engine 4. And I do remember that one of the biggest complaints about the trailer was specifically the character models, maybe not so much the Disney characters, because honestly, I think even for 2015 standards, Donald and Goofy actually looked really good. But when looking at Sora, I have to say that he did look very Play-Doh-y / plasticky. And I mean, definitely his face as well. Like his face, there was just something about it that just did not look right at all. It just looked very derpy to me. So to see the progress that Square Enix have made towards the character models, and not really just Sora as well, but even Riku and Mickey, when seeing those guys in the trailers for Kingdom Hearts 2.8, and then seeing them now in Kingdom Hearts 3, the improvements are just absolutely phenomenal. Getting back to the scene in hand though, I gotta say that the walk-in animation for Sora, Donald, and Goofy back in the 2015 version is certainly temporary, and we know that now, as of course we're seeing in the 2018 version that Sora, Donald, and Goofy have more fluid animations going on. We can see that Sora is the one to first of all make it into the area, with Donald and Goofy trembling behind. And seeing how these guys are all animated when they first approach Rapunzel's tower area, we can really tell that yes, this game is slowly becoming finalized, and that this is exactly how they will approach this area in the final product. As I gotta say, the E3 walk-in animations kind of looked a little bit awkward. It sort of went on for a little too long, and I was thinking to myself, even back then, surely this is not the actual way they'll like approach the tower. And now actually seeing the updated version with more fluid animations that have more emotion, all of this certainly does make sense. Now let's also talk about the cave environment in which Sora, Donald, and Goofy actually walk out of. In the E3 2015 trailer, the rock textures as well as the ground textures look quite basic. Not just that, but also the area behind these guys, it almost looks as if it's sort of missing, as if any space behind Sora, Donald, and Goofy hasn't actually been developed. This was definitely a sign of Kingdom Hearts 3 being in its early stages of development. The same sort of thing could also be seen in the Twilight Town portion of the E3 2015 trailer as well, with buildings in the backdrop of this area specifically that in Kingdom Hearts 2 would normally be there, but in this Kingdom Hearts 3 portion aren't there. This tells us that at this point in time, Square Enix had only developed set certain areas and portions of these worlds, and worlds at that stage had not been completely developed. Well, the 2018 version of Sora, Donald, and Goofy emerging from the cave looks way better, a lot more finalized. There's a lot more foliage on the ground. The rock texture for the actual cave itself looks of a higher quality, and it actually does look as if Sora, Donald, and Goofy are emerging out of a cave this time around, with nothing really missing in the background, but more so looking like a sort of dark cave ravine that they've actually emerged from. Alright, now let's take a look at the most interesting comparison scene out of them all, and that is quite obviously the actual Rapunzel Tower area. Now, this has been quite an interesting point of discussion because I've seen that for some people actually believe that the 2015 one actually looks better than the current 2018 version. Now, really the main differences we are of course seeing here, and I personally believe, is saturation level. I think that in terms of the color in the actual area itself, it has been significantly toned down to not have so much of a sort of high contrast green, especially for all of the nature and foliage in the area. And some people are even saying that there isn't as much foliage in the 2018 version as there once was in the 2015 version. Now, let's make one thing really clear. The footage that goes around for the E3 2015 trailer is actually of a higher quality than what we're seeing here in the Lucca 2018 trailer. And that's because Square Enix actually released the E3 2015 trailer over on their official press site, which, in case you guys don't know, when they actually do this, it means that you can actually download the raw video file, meaning that you're dodging out any sort of compression. Unfortunately, Square Enix have actually stopped uploading any of the newer Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers ever since the Classic Kingdom trailer got released earlier this year over on their press site, which is disappointing because it actually means that we don't get to see this footage in its raw format. So keeping in mind that the E3 2015 trailer is actually in a higher quality, it means that we will be noticing more details when looking at the E3 footage and less details when we're looking at the 2018 footage. However though, personally, I don't believe as if we're actually seeing less foliage and less bushes and less trees. For the most part, all of the trees and bushes that were in the E3 footage seem to actually be here, and keeping in mind too that the E3 2015 footage is actually showing us sort of this area from a different perspective, and same goes for the 2018 footage. The one thing that I will actually pick out is that in the 2015 footage, you'll notice that there is actually like grass or sort of bushes on the rock face of the mountain, and we can clearly see that these are actual blades of grass sticking out on the rock face itself. If we look at the 2018 footage, it seems to be that they've actually decided to just go with like sort of just a green texture to put onto the rock face here, rather than actually having blades of grass sticking out on the rock face itself. However, in the sense of the color change and saturation altering that Square Enix have clearly done with the most recent footage, I gotta say that personally, I actually prefer it. It seems to be that they've decided to go with more realistic tones of coloring to better suit that of the actual film of Tangled, whereas in the E3 2015 footage, sure, things were very colorful, but you might say that things were maybe a little bit too colorful. Another thing I've also been seeing people saying is that there isn't as many flowers present on the ground as well in the 2018 footage compared to as many flowers as we're seeing in the 2015 footage. In various other different gameplay and cutscenes of the Tangled world, we can still see that there is a decent amount of flowers and foliage all over the place within the environment space itself. So the argument going towards that Square Enix have decided to remove a certain amount of foliage and perhaps maybe it was fake or false advertising back in the day, I don't think that argument is quite valid. Personally, I think that this is a matter of the perspective of the camera angle in the 2018 footage, and the simple fact that the 2018 footage is of a lower quality than the 2015 footage due to the file format and YouTube's god-awful compression system. And the very final scene I thought we would compare is the Astro Blaster scene we saw in the Lucca trailer, comparing that to the very initial reveal of the Astro Blaster back during the Jump Festa 2015 trailer. Now, once again, the 2015 scene might look like it's at a higher quality, and that's due to the fact that Square Enix also released an uncompressed version of this trailer as well. But uncompressed or not, we can definitely see some very major improvements when looking towards the Astro Blaster during the Lucca trailer, Not just the character models right here, because we can clearly see some big differences between the actual character models that we talked about earlier, but the actual model of the Astro Blaster ride. It's a lot more detailed this time around, and lighting is certainly taking its effect. I feel as if Square Enix didn't quite have the lighting down during the early days of the Kingdom Hearts 3 promotion back in 2015, but we can see these really nice cool little sparkles on the actual Astro Blaster ride, whereas back in 2015 those sparkles were not there. Everything was just sort of sticking out, looking very sort of plasticky. But nowadays, things just look a lot better. Again, going back to Sora's character model though, man, just some major improvements, and especially in these scenes when you compare them. Look at that Colgate smile, boys. Oh my god. Also, the detailing in Sora's hair, obviously back in 2015, it just looked very Play-Doh-y. Nowadays, it's looking very defined. It kind of looks like you can see individual strands of his hair. But all around, Kingdom Hearts 3 is looking absolutely phenomenal. In terms of its graphical standpoint, these days, man oh man, has Square Enix come an extremely long way. I also gotta say a round of applause for Square Enix, because obviously Kingdom Hearts 3 is the very first full HD title for the Kingdom Hearts franchise. This obviously meant a lot of work for Square Enix, because it meant that they had to recreate all of the models from the ground up within the Unreal Engine 4. And this was definitely a new playing field for them, as they had never made an HD current generation title of Kingdom Hearts at all before. This would be the very first one, aside from 0.2 Birth by Sleep and back cover. And even looking back at the visuals of back cover and 0.2 and comparing those to Kingdom Hearts 3, we can still see some very big improvements. So Square Enix are for sure getting used to the whole HD Kingdom Hearts title thing, which is super cool. And of course, we're not too far away from release now. I think that with what we have seen this year, I feel as if Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely at its visual peak. I really cannot wait to actually, see the game for myself, in the sense of getting the final product, looking at it on my TV, because man oh man, is it gonna be a sight to see. It's gonna be pure eye candy, boys. I cannot wait. Okay, guys, that's pretty much all for today. I thought it would be really interesting to compare the very old footage to the most up-to-date footage that we have for Kingdom Hearts 3 now. I'm really impressed with the Tangled trailer, even though it wasn't something that was absolutely mind-boggling and crazy. It was a short, nice little 1-minute trailer to show us some updated scenes of Tangled, and I feel like this has been long awaited for sure. Be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, guys. However, with all that being said, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day, and until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stunning. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crank, gaming up the bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.